Hi, Andy Ron with Montana Land Source with this week's video summary of the Montana Land Report for May 19th, 2021. Another very busy and dynamic week in the Montana land market. Over the past 7 days, 36 property updates, which is a higher than normal amount. One property back on the market, 9 new listings, which is more than we have seen in a while. 13 pending sales, 1 price change, and 12 sales. So still well over twice as many properties going under contract and selling, therefore leaving the market rather than new listings coming on the market. This is a phenomenon we have been seeing all year in the Montana land market. Quite a few large acreage transactions or activity in the market this week. In southwest Montana, 2 new listings, the Arrow Ranch in the Big Hole Valley. That's a new listing by Fay Ranches. That's a large iconic ranch. Mostly under conservation easement. I had the fortune of working on that property, helping out appraising that property very early in my career. Also of interest, the Diamond T Ranch listing north of Melrose by Clearwater, Montana Properties. That is the former Meriwether Ranch. That was essentially a failed shared amenity development well over 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Been on the market a couple times. Like I said, a failed shared amenity development. That model has not worked that often in Montana. Didn't work in that case. Now it's just a nice private ranch that is on the market. Some other large new listings of note, the Basin Ranch north of Billings. That's Western Ranch Brokers. Another Western Ranch Brokers new listing, the Milligan Canyon Ranch. That's west of Three Forks, not far from Bozeman, Montana. Pretty large acreage for that area, newly on the market. Quite a few large acreage pending sales. The Antelope Creek Ranch, eastern Montana. Chase Brothers out of Wyoming have that listing. That went pending here recently. And then Premier Land Company has quite a few pending ranches. The Eagles Nest Ranch by Columbus, the Green Hills Ranch west of Lavina, and the very large Kemp Land and Livestock Ranch east of Billings by Custer, all under contract. So quite a bit of activity. And finally, the Tegan Ranch up by Lewistown, east of Lewistown. That property has been on the market for quite a while. It was a property that Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks was interested in purchasing a couple years ago, but couldn't come up with or couldn't pay the asking price on that. That property couldn't appraise at what they were asking for at the time. But that property has sold, again, a large iconic ranch in central Montana. So again, this market just keeps rolling on with quite a bit of activity, quite a bit of sales and pendings. In news, the newest edition of the Ranch Investor Podcast, we interviewed Tom Hauptman from here in Billings. He's a longtime oil man and also a landowner and investor. So interesting conversation there about the relationship between oil and land values and his experience with being a landowner and whatnot. He's a very dynamic guest. Really enjoyed recording that podcast. Please check that out at mtlandsource.com or anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And finally, in news, the next Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers meeting in June 3rd is going to feature Nick DeCastro from Land Trust. He's essentially created a platform, an Airbnb for hunting and recreating on land across the U.S. So a lot of opportunity there for landowners to potentially monetize their recreational assets in a way that they have full control and can manage themselves. So he's an interesting guy. We've had him on the podcast as well, so you could search our prior podcast and hear that podcast. But he's going to be our featured presenter. That meeting will be in Billings, but it's also available via Zoom. So you can find that at mtlandsource.com and get the information for participating in that meeting. That is the news for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, please share. We also appreciate the feedback and comments. If you have news or activity that you'd like us to share on the Montana Land Report, please let us know. The Montana Land Report goes out every week on Wednesdays and is free to our free subscribers of Montana Land Source. Thanks, everybody. Have a safe and productive week.